This is what I do after she lays her eggs.
So another clutch of eggs just dropped, and this time it's from one of my ball pythons.
First, you want to mark the tops of all of the eggs. This allows you to return them to their upright position in case they roll during incubation. After marking the eggs, I'll put them in an egg box. I use a mixture of vermiculite and perlite for my egg box. I find that this mixture allows me to maintain a high level of humidity without the eggs getting overly wet and moldy. Then I cover the eggs with some plastic wrap to lock in that humidity, and then they're off to the incubator. One of my snakes laid eggs, and to make sure that those eggs are good, I'm going to candle them.
What I'm actually doing is checking to see if the eggs are fertile.
Candling the eggs is a pretty simple process. The main thing that I'm looking for is strong blood vessels running throughout the egg. These blood vessels deliver nutrients to the snake embryo growing inside the egg. All of these eggs look really good, so in about 60 days we should see some new baby snakes. These ball python eggs are on day 7 of incubation.
The mother of this clutch was a Mojave, and the father was a GHI.
So I'm really hoping to hatch out a snake that has a combination of those two genes, a Mojave GHI. We'll have to wait about 50 days to find out. These ball python eggs are on day 26 of incubation.
I'm incubating these eggs at 89 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 31.5 degrees Celsius.
At that temperature, the eggs should hatch between day 55 and day 60. So these eggs are about halfway done with incubation. The eggs are looking really good, so today I just wiped off some of the condensation to prevent the eggs from getting wet. We'll see those eggs hatch in just a minute, but first I want to unbox my latest creation. This is what's in Dr. Serpenstine's lab, my first ever children's book. The book follows Dr. Serpenstine around his laboratory as he completes his daily chores and shows off his scaly pets. These ball python eggs are on day 37 of incubation.
And there's quite a buildup of condensation on the walls of this egg box.
And if the eggs get wet, it could lead to mold, which can cause the eggs to ultimately go bad. When I situate the eggs inside of the egg box, I ensure that they're not touching any of the walls. This helps prevent them from getting wet from that condensation buildup. Since the eggs aren't touching the walls, it likely won't cause any issues. However, I'm going to wipe it down just as a preventative measure.
These eggs are more than halfway done, so in about 20 days we should start to see them hatch.
These ball python eggs are on day 53 of incubation.
They're due to hatch any day now, so this will be their last checkup before they hatch.
You could see that the eggs are significantly denting in now, which is normal for this stage of incubation. The eggs have a soft shell, and when I press on them, I could feel the snake inside responding to my touch. These eggs usually take about 55 to 60 days to hatch, so right now the snakes are fully developed inside. They're likely absorbing that last little bit of yolk and building up the strength to hatch. These ball python eggs are on day 55 of incubation.
And the first out of 5 eggs started hatching.
I took a close look at the other eggs and it doesn't appear that any others are hatching. But I suspect in the next day or so we'll see the rest of them hatch. Unlike the children's pythons that I just hatched, these guys are a lot less active. They usually pop their head out of their egg like this and then they'll stay like that for a day or two. Once they build up the energy and motivation, they'll crawl out and start exploring.
I'll get these babies back in the incubator and we'll check up on them tomorrow.
These ball pythons are on day 57 of incubation, and today 2 more are completely out of their eggs.
Just like the one that crawled out yesterday, these snakes look fantastic.
When new babies hatch, the first thing I look for is any sort of deformity. I'll also look to see if the snake is unusually skinny or small, and if the snake is alert and its tongue is flickering normally.
These babies are looking absolutely perfect, so I don't think they're going to need any special care at all.
I'll put these 2 with the one that came out yesterday, and then we'll wait for those last 2 snakes to crawl out. I'm going to use these 2 eggshells in a piece of art that I'm creating, so I'm going to get them cleaned up. What's left of the yolk sac is the only thing that's left inside the egg, which means those babies absorbed everything. Here you can see how soft and pliable a snake egg really is. Even after squishing them all the way down, they pop back up into shape and they could even hold water. Now that I have them all rinsed out, I'll set them out and let them dry. So now we're waiting on these last 2 snakes to crawl out. I'll get these little ones back in the incubator and we'll check up on them tomorrow. These ball python eggs are on day 60 of incubation.
And the last 2 babies are out of their eggs.
This snake is the darkest one out of the clutch. Both of these snakes absorbed all their yolk, so they're pretty big and they look really healthy. There are thousands of different ball python color and pattern combinations. Breeding different genes together is what creates the color and patterns. There's 2 genes that I'm working with for the first time in this clutch, the het red xanthic gene and the vanilla gene. So I'll have to do some research and comparing and contrasting to make sure that I identify the morph properly. If you are familiar with those morphs, please let me know what your guess is in the comments.